The opposition criticizes me for not going to Paris yesterday for the meeting of the so-called coalition of the willing to help Ukraine until the very end. I'd like to take the opposition's heads off, but I can't. In addition, I deal with much more serious topics. There is no doubt, dear friends, that in the event of a government composed of the current opposition, we would once again have a cabinet serving Brussels without any reservations. The very fundamental differences will be in the approach to the war in Ukraine, which I fear will continue for a long time to come. Looking at the development of other events. If yesterday a group of countries, but for example without Italy or the Czech Republic and others, want to send troops to the territory of Ukraine, Slovakia cannot prevent them from doing so. However, I repeat again emphatically for the thousandth time that no Slovak soldier will leave for the territory of Ukraine as part of the multinational military forces during the term of my government. I hope that none of you doubt that such a military adventure will not be missed by an obedient Slovakia in the event of a seizure of power. If the group of the willing is in favor of granting another war loan to Ukraine in the amount of 90 billion euros, Slovakia cannot prevent it. But as Prime Minister, I ensure that Slovakia would not participate in this war loan. The Czech Republic and Hungary have also decided to do the same. Any war loans only serve to prolong the suffering in Ukraine, which is in stark contradiction to the peace policy of the current government. As we have heard from a number of opposition leaders, they would participate in a war loan to Ukraine if the group of willing countries agree to continue to send arms to Ukraine for free. We can't stop them, but we will not donate any more weapons. There is no need to ask the opposition whether it would continue to donate weapons, because when it was in government it donated almost the entire arsenal of the Slovak army to Ukraine, which we are now renewing at a costly price. As Prime Minister, I can imagine Slovakia's participation as a neighbor of Ukraine in monitoring a peace agreement or ceasefire, if the warring parties ever agree on one, because such agreements cannot be imposed. And I fundamentally prefer bilateral, mutually beneficial cooperation with Ukraine on the basis of joint negotiations between governments to the plans of the so-called coalition of the willing. I have long held a different view of the war in Ukraine than Germany or the UK, and I do not believe in their strategy. It is wrong. It only leads to more and more bloodshed. Moreover, it is naive if it expects a total weakening of the Russian Federation and the strength of the current government. Dear friends, it is in freely voicing your own opinion that we have not succumbed to the dangerous Brussels policy of one single compulsory opinion, which is killing democracy on an unprecedented scale. Friends, finally, I am glad that the opposition has spoken up. At least we could tell what was in store for us if she won the election and put together a purely pro-Brussels government. We will do everything we can to ensure that this does not happen.